Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my October wrap up. I have not done a wrap up in what feels like millennia. I have not been reading a lot, honestly. I was in a reading slump for about 3 months. I didn't do a lot of reading in the last few months, so the fact that I read 4 books in October is kind of amazing and it's something I'm very proud of. So I'm going to chat to you guys today about the books that I read, and I just want to quickly say that some of these books were audiobooks, and if you are someone who believes that audiobooks do not count as real reading, please stop watching this video now because I do not have the time to listen to people telling me that audiobooks are not real reading. I don't care if you think that. Okay, so the first book that I read this month was an audiobook and it was from my library, and that book was Stalking Jack the Ripper by Kerri Maniscalco. This book was super creepy, it's exactly what I wanted. Obviously, spooky season, October, I wanted some kind of spookier books and this was perfect for that. This book basically follows our main character who is stalking Jack the Ripper. She works with her uncle in sort of, what's the word, like, I want to say forensics, it's not forensics, I can't think what the word is. She dissects dead bodies to kind of tell how they died, that kind of stuff, which is kind of frowned upon because she's a young woman and she should not be doing this disgusting job, but she's very good at it and she turns into a kind of detective, and there's a lot of twists and turns and a lot of creepy stuff going on, and I just thought this book was so well written. Obviously I listened to the audiobook and the narration was really good. It's something that I definitely think added to the experience of reading this book, but I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 4 out of 5. I definitely want to continue with the other books in this series. So yeah, I definitely feel like the narration of the audiobook added to my experience, and I definitely want to continue with the rest of these books. Whether I'll read them physically or in the audiobook form, I don't know yet, but I'm definitely thinking and hoping to continue with the series because I really enjoyed the writing. The characters were really cool, they were so unique, and there was just something about them that I really connected to them. And I have been working I've been out of the house 50 hours a week for work, so it's been a very busy month for me, and audiobooks have changed my life in this aspect because, as I said, I was in a massive reading slump. I've not had time to read, and listening to audiobooks has changed that. So definitely audiobooks are the way to go for me at the minute, alongside reading physically when I'm at home or on my lunch break and stuff. But while I'm at work I can listen to, I can have headphones on and stuff, and audiobooks have just been incredible, so I really enjoyed this one. The second book I read this month was All Boys Aren't Blue by George M. Johnson. This was another audiobook that I listened to, and it's one, again, that I really enjoyed. It's not one that I feel like I can really give a review of because it's a memoir, and I really struggle to talk about memoirs in a sort of critical way because they're somebody's life story. They're somebody telling the story of things that have happened to them and the way that they dealt with those things, and it's just not something I feel comfortable really talking about in the way that I would talk about a novel. So I'm not really going to talk about it that much, other than that I think it's a very important topic. It deals with racism, it deals with homophobia, it deals with sort of gender stereotypes and stuff like that. It's just a really incredible story, and it's one that I think it's one that people of all ages will take something out of. There are some trigger warnings which, if I remember, I will try to leave in the description box, so if you are thinking of picking this up, I would say definitely check those out before you go into it because there are some triggering elements to it. But it was an incredible book to listen to as well. It was narrated by the author, and it was just a really incredible experience to hear his experiences in life and the way that he encourages other people to deal with similar experiences. It was just really interesting, and I really enjoyed it isn't maybe necessarily the word, but I took a lot from it, and I think a lot of people would do so also. So definitely, if you're thinking of picking this one up, I would recommend that you do. So the next book I read was a physical book, and that was The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. This is a book that I've been saving for this exact moment when I've been in a reading slump and I just want something that I know I'm going to really enjoy, and I adore this series. The new book is coming out this month, at the end of this month, which I'm not quite sure yet if it's a companion novel or if it's like a novella, or if it's, I think it might actually be a collection of short stories. I'm not entirely sure. I don't really want to know that much about it because I love this series so much. I just want to get it and read it and not know much at all about it until then. So I haven't obviously looked into it too much, but this is the third book and kind of the finale up until this point. And yeah, if you have read this book, if you've read this series, you will know how incredible it is. This is the third book in the Folk of Air series. The first one is The Cruel Prince, and then there is The Wicked King, which you can see here. A fun fact is that actually The Cruel Prince was one of the first books I ever got signed. I met Holly Black as one of my first ever book signings, and it was an incredible experience, and it's just something that's always stuck with me, and this series means so much to me because I adore, like, the world is incredible, the characters are stunning, the relationships, the friendships, the motivations for different things that go on in this book, it's just amazing, and I can't recommend it more highly than I already have. But if you are someone who wants to read an urban fantasy with fairy and grim, just really gritty stuff, but also in a really comical way, it's just an amazing series, so I would definitely recommend it. But yeah, this is the third book. I read this month. I absolutely loved it, and I am honestly so tempted to reread this entire series again before the next book comes out, because I just can't get enough of this world, and these characters again just mean so much to me, and I just want to read it all over again. So the last book that I read this month was actually for my book club, which I will leave linked in the description box. I started a Tolkien themed book club. If you guys didn't know, I'm obsessed with Tolkien. It's something that a lot of people kind of probably know about me by now, but yeah, I actually got a Tolkien tattoo recently, so maybe I will show you guys that in another video. But anyway, yeah, I started this Tolkien book club, and the first book that we read was The Fall of Gondolin, and I cannot find my copy. I don't know where the hell I've put it. I talked about it in my book club announcement video and I couldn't find it, and now I'm trying to talk about it again. I have no idea where I put it, but we read The Fall of Gondolin and I really enjoyed it. It's one that I hadn't read before, so I was really looking forward to reading it, and I really enjoyed it. It was very different to the other work that I've read by him, and obviously it's edited by his son, so yeah, there's a lot of input from Christopher Tolkien in there. There's a lot of history of the different drafts discussed in his kind of commentary on the different levels. There's a lot of commentary from Christopher Tolkien about the different stages of development that this story has been through, and the characters, the names, the history. It's incredible. It's such a fun experience, I think, personally, to read the commentary from Christopher Tolkien in the newer releases of his books, because you get to see the history and the different glimpses at different parts of the story that you wouldn't necessarily know otherwise. So yeah, I really enjoyed that, and I'm really glad that we read it as the first book in the series, in the book club. If you guys joined in and read that as well, let me know, because that would be amazing. The next book that we're reading this month in November is The Silmarillion, one that again I am really super excited to read with you guys, and yeah, I'm very excited for this. Don't really know what else to say about it right now because we haven't read it together yet, but very excited to be reading this with you. If you would like to join in, again, I will leave all the links in the description box so you can check that out, but very excited to be continuing on with this month's book of the month for my new book club. So those are the books that I read this month. I'm very happy that I read books that I enjoyed and I didn't read any books that I really hated, because I've been in such a reading slump that I've been very, very picky with what I've been reading, and I happened to pick 4 books that I really enjoyed. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I will be reading many more books this month. I'm finally coming out of my reading slump, which is an amazing, amazing feeling. So that's my plan, to read as much as I can alongside working. But let me know in the comments what you guys have read this month, because I would really like to know, and make sure you subscribe if you want to see future videos from me. My November TBR will be coming up very soon, as well as an October favourites, so if you're interested, make sure you subscribe, and just see me in the next video. Bye guys!